Now that we have basic levels, it's time to start thinking a little bit more about some details here. Um, let's talk about bleed. So, of course, we have bleed in any mic that was open during the recording that day we were in the studio. So, when we listen to this kick drum, we hear these snare drums. And it's not necessarily a horrible thing, but when we bring up the kick, we also bring up the snare drum. I think this is a great question to ask you. This is our signal. Okay, there's a concept called signal to noise ratio in audio production. This is the signal because it's our kick-in mic. This is considered the noise because it is not our kick drum. So we have a pretty solid, our peak of our signal is pretty high and our noise is pretty low. Not so great is on our, and they don't look that bad, but like our tom tracks, when this is our signal, that's our noise. It's actually pretty good too. This one, I don't know what the heck's going on. All right, but let's introduce the concept of a gate. So if underneath my time adjustment, I'm going to go into the dynamics category and choose the Dyne 3 expander gate. You could use the Pro expander, but it does the same thing. This is pretty easy to understand. A gate allows you to essentially turn off a track unless the signal gets above a certain threshold. So, for example, I want this kick drum to play, but I don't want to hear these snare drums in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower my threshold. Raise my threshold so that the only thing that opens it up is the kick drum. Let's talk about these parameters. Threshold. The higher the threshold, the higher the amplitude of the signal has to be in order to open it up. So right now I have a threshold of negative 13.8. The kick drums seem to be opening up. I don't really hear the snare drum. But can you hear how much thicker the kick drum sounds? We'll get to that in a moment. All right, so what does the range mean? Range is how off is off. So at a range of 0, you can see this white line, you hear the snare drum. You can turn it down or you can turn it off. Sometimes turning it down is the way to go because if there are any subtle notes that sound good, it's not bad to reinforce them. The attack, how quickly this thing will open up once the threshold is passed or crossed. I'm going to have that be pretty fast. The hold time, how long will it stay open? So that one's very important for what I was talking about before. This is choking the kick. So with a kick, you have a transient that's very fast, and it does dissipate quickly in this tail. So what we're hoping to do is hold the gate open, for a period of time, and then we want it to release in a way that makes it sound as natural as possible. So then we have the release time, which is how slowly this thing goes back to 0. So at 80 milliseconds, it's down pretty quickly. If I raise this, so it's open long enough for that snare drum to sneak in. That was 1 second. I'm really trying to get it to sound just like the kick drum. So I think my attack was a little bit slow still. Okay, so we put in our snares. Okay, now you might say as I was turning that off, you don't hear much. But again, this is one of those things that as multiple tracks get cleaned up like this, you really start to open up the cleanliness of the drum mix. So I'm definitely gonna do this on the kick. I'll probably do the same thing. That worked pretty well just by stealing the kick drum. I will steal this for the snare drum. We'll see how it works. Not very well. All right, so let's go back and get a little loop going for ourselves. Okay, so this time I think we need to hold it. Okay, sounds pretty good. Steal it for the bottom. Going to try something here, and I'm going to put all these on the same insert so that I can Option Shift Command okay. I tend not to gate the overheads. The toms definitely. Especially in a song like this. This is a pretty clean sounding, or at least the original, this clean sounding drum set. All right, so this is a pretty good spot right here. There is something I'm going to talk through, but I think this time I am going to gate them. I will sometimes simply come in here and edit the drums kind of on their own manually. Something like that. But because I see enough spots, like if I wanted to spend half an hour, that's what I would do. But I know that you don't. So out of the kindness of my heart, but you got to be good with you got to be pretty good with the gates. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to insert the gate. Raise this. Okay. Quick attack. Medium release. Hold. Okay, let's see if we can steal. Oof. That didn't sound good. More hold. And less threshold. Less hold. More hold. Let's see, what can we adjust? Sometimes you're not going to get rid of these things without just manually doing it. Looking to see if I can make it sound natural. I'm listening with the overheads because the overheads capture everything. In a way, you're never going to get your toms to sound super, super natural with gating. But what they really need to do is fit in with the overheads. One thing I can tell is that our recording level on the toms was pretty low. So that's why it's not triggering the same settings. So I'm actually going to just come over here to the gain, the clip gain, and I'm going to eyeball it getting closer to what the other tracks are. Okay, overheads. All right, so what I would like for you to do is highlight a section, let's say that has kick, goes through a tom run. What I want you to do though is mute the overheads, mute the hi-hat, so I'm just listening to gated tracks. Okay, this one sounds horrible. Okay, so again, solo or just mute the overheads and the hi-hat. I can hear some of this gating. Mine's imperfect. Yours might be too. Go for it.